YouTube, it's Olympus Reptiles, and we had some surprise eggs. So I want to talk about that because you may get a surprise and don't get caught with your pants down like I did. Proverbially speaking, I've never been caught with my actual pants down. I could say something, but this is YouTube. We'll keep it somewhat clean. So, first of all, what happened? We are in the midst of breeding season. We run our breeding season from kind of the end of October. Halloween seems like a good date. I don't know why. We start doing our pairing, and they get a few months off at the end of the year before we start that up again to make sure our males get a chance to eat. So we had a female we were pairing this year, and lo and behold, I don't think we ever observed an actual lock. Well, we got an L written on there, so maybe we did observe one, it looks like, and that would be a yellow belly pastel head axanthic female. I will pull her out for you here in just a moment. But we really weren't feeling too good, and we weren't expecting any eggs. We hadn't observed an ovulation, but you got to remember, we're not starting to breed until when? Till the end of October. That means I'm really not looking for ovulations when you start breeding in November too early, right? Because it's going to take a little bit of breeding, then you're going to have your ovulation, and then you're going to have, your prelate. You all know the whole series of things. So we have never had eggs for ball pythons before March. March has always been the earliest month we've ever had. This is February, barely, but these happened several days ago. So let me show you the girl that laid. Now, what we don't know, hi girlie, and she is already back on food. So she has not had her post-lay shed yet, but she has eaten since she laid. So that is always good news. Here she is. And again, this is an in-house produced yellow belly pastel head axanthic SK line. So this year we were breeding her to our pastel axanthic, which is a different male than we used last year. Last year we were using our killer zebra bee male, which is a spider super pastel axanthic. Again, trying to work some more color enhancing genes into some of those killer bee things, right? That's what we were going for, to make really bright, really nice, really high contrast axanthics. She did not go. However, I think, and originally we were going to do this video like this. I said, well, we really can't yet because I'm not sure. So I'm going to specify. I think the dad is actually going to probably end up being retained sperm from last year's male. That's my belief. What are we doing there, girl? You're fine. You'll get fed again in just a couple of days, I promise. I promise we'll pick you up. And you can see she still looks pretty thinned out. And she'll continue to look like that loose skin there until after she has her next shed, right? But all in all, looking pretty good. So, she never got really huge, which would be a normal sign of having eggs. We didn't see that. We didn't see that big ovulation. I'm sure it happened. It just happened at a time that we weren't looking for it. If she has eggs in February, that huge ovulation probably happened around Christmas, January, because you have that and then you're about 45 days from eggs because you got to go through the 15 days, have your shed, then 30 days. So that's the thing. I'm not usually looking for that at that point in time because there's a whole follicle building process, all those things that have to happen. That's why I think our killer bee axanthic will be the dad. The other indicator of that is over the years we've had a handful of retained sperm clutches. And there is a lesson for how you should prepare for yourself in this. Again, when you get a collection that starts getting larger as ours is, by no means is it massive. No, we're not running thousands of snakes. Never will be, don't want to. But, with this, the reason I think it's also retained sperm is the clutch was pretty much shitty. And what I mean by shitty is we had 5 total eggs out of there. 2 of them were obvious little yellow slugs. Just toss those out. 2 of them candled with no vein work at all, which are probably what I call a full-size slug. There's nothing in there. Just in case I miss it or I don't see it, we go ahead and incubate those until we know beyond the shadow of a doubt. And 1 egg did show good vein work. So out of 5 eggs, I got hope for 1. 2 have a snowball's chance in hell, and 2 I have already thrown to the wild to be eaten by whatever wildlife wants to eat those eggs I toss out there. So we only really have 1 good egg. That also tends to be a sign of retained sperm, is you just don't seem to get as strong or as good of a clutch, in my view, on average with that. You can have retained sperm where you get 5, 6 good eggs. This isn't one of those times. She's also a first-time female, so that's working against her as well. But I do expect good things from her in the future. So how do we get caught with our pants down? Well, again, we were not expecting eggs yet. So we hadn't prepped our incubator because we were not expecting eggs until, several weeks into March. So the idea was into this month, we'd prep the incubator and make sure it was all run up to snuff, get both of them going. So we had one in a backup. Hadn't done any of that. Open the tub and say, holy shit, Caleb, we have eggs. So we had to scramble, and it's going to take a while to prep the large incubator. Fortunately, I have a few small old ones laying around that'll fire up, be ready to go like that. So we fired one of those up, put that 3 eggs in there until the big one was ready to go, which we have now got prepped and running. So we're able to do that. But had we not had that little one laying around, man, I'd have had a little bit of a problem because she'd have been setting on eggs. My incubator's not ready. I probably would have had to run maternal incubation for a while, which is not what I really want to do with those. And it just would have been, not so good. So the lesson I've learned is as my collection grows, the likelihood of those things happening increase. It's not because the likelihood of retained sperm increases, but when you have more breeding females, you have more odds of something weird like that happening. So the new rule is going to be when pairing starts, incubator goes on. So if we have one of those clutches that comes out of time like that, we'll be more prepared for it. The little bit we're going to spend in electricity is going to matter nothing compared to being prepared for the clutch. So that is the lesson that I take from it. And the lesson I would tell you, when you've only got 5, 10, 15 snakes, not something you really got to worry about because you're going to probably notice that because you're doing a little more time with each one. But when you get upwards of, hell, this wall here is just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and that's just the adult room. Then there's the baby room, and there's the sub-adult room over there. It's got another like 30 in it, plus grow-up babies. When you start getting that over 100 amount, probably a good idea to have that thing prepped all but maybe 2 months out of the year or 3 months out of the year. Lesson learned! I'm telling you, I learned it, so you can learn it without having to learn it the hard way. And let me make those mistakes and take the lumps so you don't have to. Kurt, any questions about those?
No.
Okay, what that does mean, y'all, if we're keeping a score at home, is that is clutch 1 for the year, albeit a shitty clutch. It's going to throw my slug rate off. That's okay. We can deal with it. And if you start looking through here and adding up all the O's, we are currently, I stress currently because a year can change, on pace to outperform last year again and increase our numbers again, right on schedule with our growth plan, which we always stress. Have a growth plan. Your growth plan should be unique to you. Whatever my plan is doesn't mean that's your plan. You should have a plan that fits your time, your budget of money, your budget of effort, your budget of all your energy that you want for you. That's important. Don't follow what everybody else does. Do what works for you. That's who's going to be successful. Kurt, anything you want to add?
No.
Caleb, anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right, guys, this is pretty short, sweet, and to the point. Basically, get your incubators prepared earlier than you think you need to, because every now and then, one of them shits eggs and you're not ready for it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.